Hey everybody, Edo here, and this is Clank Legacy Acquisitions Incorporated, and this is a game I've heard tons and tons of great things about, reviews, top 10s, recommendations from friends, and it just took a very long time to get to, and then even more so, and I'll explain. And this is actually similar to my feedback or review that I did of the original Clank, which I'll link, where I hadn't played it, but in that case it was because I really didn't like the visual direction of that earlier version, and it just didn't grab me, and nothing about it really made me want to play, so I just never got it to the table. Then I did. The game's great. This solves that problem. I love Penny Arcade. I love this look. I love the fantasy, the layout, the board, all the components. I feel the look of this game is fantastic. And there's some places where there's some similarities, of course, but really, this is a legacy game, so if you're not familiar, this is a game where you're going to play 10 games, and each game you will have a changing board where sometimes you sticker things, or tear things up, or change things, or write things, or mark things. And so I don't want to open it, because all of that is part of the fun of playing through this. If you're not familiar with Clank, I can link my review, or will, but basically Clank is a push your luck deck building game where you are playing as heroes that start in town and you're working your way into a dungeon, and you're doing that by playing 5 cards from your hand. You draw 5 and you have those 5 cards, and those give you movement, attack, skill points, which is sort of like buying power, and special text, special abilities. And you're going to do this to work your way down into the dungeon or the underworld or the underground or whatever. And along the way, you then are going to use those purchasing powers to get better cards, better abilities, and things like that. All players are racing because in the lower area is an artifact, and when you get that artifact, it's then a race to get back to the top. The challenge to the players is there's this dragon that's attacking, and every time it gets triggered in a couple of different ways from the adventure deck and things like that, you're going to take cubes out, and based on what cubes you pull, people get hurt. And it's called Clank because as you make noise, you add cubes to the bag, essentially. So you are building up your deck, spending skill points, you're getting more risk, and the dragon's doing more and more damage as the game escalates, and you're working at the bottom, and then the first player who comes back, it's different in this game, but basically starts a little bit of a clock, because every time it comes back to that player's turn, they are going to draw more cubes and just keep hurting people. There's a softening in this game versus the original, where if you get knocked out under below the danger zone, you get 0 points. You're basically killed or off the clock. But if you're above, you just don't get a 20-point bonus for finishing. So it's not quite as vicious, so to speak. So that's the basic premise. It worked in Clank. There was Clank in space. There's been like 3 Clanks. It is a, well-oiled machine. All of the legacy stuff in this, and I've played, what legacy games have I played? I've played Pandemic Legacy, I've played Charterstone, I've played Machikoro Legacy, and I feel like Risk Legacy. I feel like there's one other one that's, is I'm not thinking of at the moment, but not Two Cities, what was it called? My City, that one's a pretty light one. But in the legacy job in this, which is really wrapped around Dungeons and Dragons and Acquisitions Incorporated, which is sort of like a tongue-in-cheek Dungeons and Dragons around starting your own sort of like adventure agency, and it's got a lot of corporate mixed with adventure humor, is just layered in so well. The way that things are changing in the world and expanding. There's this giant book of reading, which is sort of not choose your own adventure, but like something happens, you read up a section, the plot moves forward. There are all of these interesting ways it's layered in, it works together. It's fantastic. This is the kind of game, this is a top game. It's going to be a top game for me for the year, but like it's been a top game for everybody. You play it, and it makes you want to, as a creator, it makes me want to make a legacy game. Not because I think I could do better. The amount of work that went into this is insane, but it's just so fun, so inspiring, so imaginative. I really dug it. Nothing crazy new, but just the right balance of novelty, fun, humor. Really, really spot on. So this was recommended to us. We played it. and played it through. I've since bought it for other people as presents. I mean, it's not cheap. I think it's like $100. But it was a good present for that person. But I mean, I highly recommend it. I will make this note though. So we played it with our family. The reason I at the beginning of the video I said there was like this long time is we had gotten it, we went to play it, we opened it up, and like there's a lot to do. There's a lot to learn, there's a lot to read, there's a lot of prep in this game. And so like the first time we went to play with it, like it just grounded out. And if you have kids and family, like if you bring out a game, you got to do a bunch of stuff, it's a mess. And so certainly if you're a parent, you're playing with friends or even with other people, you should learn how to play. And I had remembered how to play Clank, but the nuances of this, go through the rules, get everything prepped. That's going to take you like 30, 45 minutes to get started, and you should do it because it's a challenge. Moreover, I have to say, so it says 90 minutes to 120 minutes. That's probably right, but it's like 30 minutes of like story step, like prep, play, and 30 minutes of cleanup. Give or take, right? And so it's a lot of gaming. It requires a lot of attention. With family, we played it with my wife and then my 12 and now soon to be 15-year-old. And, you know, my wife and I got to the place where we like did all the setup before, and then like the kids would dip, like, and we would do cleanup. Like it's a lot. And it's one of those things where it's a double-edged sword where it's so cool how things interrupt play and change. And, you know, things that change how the win condition works or what the cards are, like all sorts of things and things you can discover and reveal and add. But it's got a lot of pauses. I complained about that a little bit in, I said the name of it before, but the Legacy Charterstone, where you'd have to like go into the cards. But even that was light. Here it's like, get the cards, get the sticker sheet, do the thing, rip the thing, and like, you know, we don't have phones at the table when we're gaming, but like certainly if people had phones, they would totally check out. It takes so long. So everyone I think should be ready for that, but the game works, it plays well, the way it adds nuances is fun. I mean, it is fantastic. This is fantastic. So without hesitation, certainly if you like Clank, you'll love it. If you've never played Clank, it wouldn't hurt to play Clank first. It's cheaper and easier to play and learn, but I think the roll-in works in this game. Like it rolls you into it, and I don't think you need to have played Clank before. But expect some time to roll into this, get it going, get it started. Even if you've played Clank, expect there's like overhead. And then expect every game has overhead. And I think it's worth it. I think it delivers on it. And it's been a great experience for everybody. But, you know, we don't play it after 7 o'clock or something because kids start like just like running out of steam. but we did make it through it, and it's come with us on trips, and it's been great. So anyway, that's Clank Legacy. Hey everybody, Edo here, and thanks for watching Gaming with Edo. Reviews over here on this playlist, League and Insider videos over here on this one. Subscribe, share, all that good stuff. But most importantly, play some great games. Thanks.